Welcome to Yoga with Tina. We're going to start today in mountain pose, which is just a nice tall standing position. I want you to close your eyes and let your arms just flop down next to your sides. Maybe wiggle your fingers and your toes before you settle your feet down onto your mat. Let your breath start to come into your body a little slower. Soften your knees. Inhaling and exhaling through the nose. On your next breath in, reach your arms up overhead. And then exhale, let them fall back down by your sides with control here. 2 more times just like that. Breathe in to lift up. Exhale to settle down. And then bend your knees a little bit more. Now inhale, reach up, straighten your legs. Soften everything down. Reach only your left arm up. And now lean over towards your right. Stay here for an inhale. And float to the other side as you exhale. So now right arm goes up and over to the left. Breathe in and reach up, both arms. Inhale to lift your forehead up towards your hands. And now exhale to dive forward. Soften your knees. Touch the mat in front of your toes. And then reach all the way back up to stand. On an exhale, soften and fold forward. 2 more times, just like that. Breathe in. And out. Okay, now reach up. Grab your left wrist this time with your right hand and lean over to the right. Inhale. Okay, now listen up. You're going to lower more down towards your right side, making a circle. You're still holding onto your wrist here. All the way over to the left. And then we'll meet back up in the center before you switch. So now take your left hand around your right wrist, lean over to the left. And then lean left, lean, 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 keep going. Nice and slow and controlled. Make that circle over to the right. And then back up to center. Arms reach wide and up. Fold forward. From here, stay in your forward fold, but place your hands on the front of your shins. And then press into your shins, lift up to a flat back. Now sit back into your chair pose, just like you have an invisible chair behind you. Reach your arms forward, but not up. They can be at a little bit of an angle. Exhale to fold. Halfway lift. Chair pose. Breathe in. And fold. Halfway lift. Chair pose. One more time, breathe in here. With control, fold down. See if you can go even slower. Halfway lift. Chair pose. Stay here for 3 breaths. Last one, lift up onto your toes. Release your heels and fold. Bend your knees. Step 1 foot back and then the other, so you're coming into a high plank. And then lower your right knee down, left knee down, right knee down, left, one more right, left, and then press yourself back to downward facing dog. Hips lift to the ceiling, or if you're outside, the sky. You can start to walk it out here. Don't be afraid to move your feet around. You can take them wide in your down dog or closer towards your hands. See what feels really good for you. Let your head shake yes or no. All right, now keeping your feet and hands just where they are. I want you to look forward at your hands. Make sure your fingers are spread nice and wide. Now shift your weight forward back into that high plank. Exhale, press your hips back up, downward facing dog. Inhale, try not to move your feet or hands at all. High plank. Exhale, down dog. One more time, high plank. Down dog. Last time, high plank, hold. Lower your left knee, right knee, left knee, right knee, left, right. Both knees come down. Press your hips back for child's pose. Your knees can be together or they can be wide as your mat. I like to do that because it gives my belly some space to breathe. Walk your hands over to the right side of your mat and then pull yourself back towards your left. One more breath in here. And then walk your fingertips all the way over to the left side of your mat and pull back towards your right hip. One more breath in here. And then bring your hands back to center. Shift forward. If the knees were wide, bring them to hip distance. And walk your knees back a little bit so that you're coming into a modified plank. Now take a breath in as you press your mat away from you. And then as you exhale, lower down, hugging your elbows in towards your ribs. Your chin and chest come down first before your belly. That's called knees, chest, chin. And it's an option instead of chaturanga. Now when you breathe in, lift your chest and gaze. And then as you exhale, release down. Press up and back, downward facing dog. So we'll do that again with the knees, chest, chin option before doing one with chaturanga, where you'll stay on your toes. Inhale to a high plank. Exhale to lower down, chin and chest first. Release and lift into a low cobra. Gaze is just right down ahead of your mat. And then release and press back. Use the knees to get to downward facing dog. Now this time, inhale, high plank. Try to stay on your toes. Remember to hug the elbows in tight. Lower down, chaturanga. Nice and slow, all the way down. And then lift up and press back. We'll meet in downward facing dog. Bend your knees and look to the space in between your thumbs. And then walk your feet, just one little step at a time is fine, to fold forward at the front of your mat or wherever you may be. Now I like to grab opposite elbows here in my first forward fold. My first long forward fold of the day. And sway side to side, bending one knee and then the other. Now release your fingertips towards your toes and then press your hands into your shins. Lift up halfway. Remember that chair pose. Sit back, reach forward. Take a breath in and fold. Bend your knees. Step one foot back and then the other. Lift your right toes off the mat just a little bit this time and lower. Left toes, lower. Right, lower. Left, lower. You got this. One more. Right, right, and left. And then press back to downward facing dog. Bend your knees and look forward. This time just step your right foot towards your right thumb. If it doesn't quite get there, use your right hand to guide it. You can lower down onto your back knee if you'd like, or stay on your toe. Now drop your back heel and then walk your hands up on your right thigh, coming into warrior one. Arms are going to reach up. Settle in and breathe here. Now straighten your right leg and reach your fingertips up a little higher. Bend into your right knee and reach your arms down by your hips. Inhale to reach up, straighten that front leg. Exhale, bend your front knee. Hands lower down. One more time like that. Straighten and reach. Bend and lower. Keep your bend in your knee as you reach your arms up. And then lower your hands down nice and slow, framing your front foot and coming back up onto your right toes. Left toes, sorry. Back toes. Step back to high plank, lower to the knees, or stay here. And as you exhale, lower down however you choose. Let your inhale lift you up. And if you're ready for it, upward facing dog looks like this. You're going to straighten the arms and pick your knees up off the mat. So you're pressing into the tops of your feet. Now, if you were doing that, lower back down and then make your way to downward facing dog. Bend your knees and look forward. Walk your feet, both feet to your thumbs. Press into your shins, halfway lift. Chair pose. Hips sit back, arms reach forward. One breath in here. Now fold. Bend, step one foot back at a time to plank. Lift your left toes off the mat, lower, right, lower, left, lower, right, one more left, last right, downward facing dog. Bend and look forward, step just your left foot forward this time. Remember, you can assist that foot forward with your left hand. Now lower to that back heel, or you can do all this on the knee as well. Arms are gonna reach up when you're ready. You can use your thigh to get there. Warrior one. Oops, I forgot my heel. Okay, now straighten your front leg. Arms reach, or fingers just kind of reach a little higher. And now bend into that front knee. Let your arms soften down by your hips. Inhale to come up. Exhale to lower down. Keep going. This will be our last one. Keep the bend in your knee. Reach your arms up. And then slowly lower your hands down while you pivot on your back toes. Meet in high plank. And if you need a rest, child's pose is always there for you. Or go through your flow of high plank to low. Lift up. Down dog is where we will meet. Bend your knees, look forward. Walk your feet to your hands. Fold. Halfway lift. Chair pose. Okay, so remember earlier we came up onto the toes. Give that a try here. And now press your arms back behind you. Pulse your arms back, so just little presses, like you're giving someone a high five behind you. Four, three, two, release the heels and fold. Bend your knees, step one foot back, and then the other. High plank. Now I'm going to lower to my knees this time. Bring your right hand up, tap your right shoulder. You can stay on your toes. Left hand up, tap your left shoulder. Right hand, left hand. One more right, last left. Downward facing dog. Bend your knees, look forward. Step your right foot to your right thumb. Drop your back heel, warrior one. On an inhale, straighten your front leg, lift up. And now as you exhale, bend into that front knee again. And this time you're gonna clasp your hands behind your back. Interlace your fingers. Press your knuckles away from you. Lift your chest as high as you can. And then slowly, on an exhale, fold forward. You can stop right here and just hover your chest over your thigh. Some people might be able to go a little bit deeper into this pose we call humble warrior. And depending on your shoulder flexibility, your knuckles might be pressing away from your low back, or maybe you can start to reach them up. Now you could release your hands here and then meet back in down dog, but I think it's good core work to lift back up, release your arms carefully and slowly, and then lower yourself down, downward facing dog. Stay right there, child's pose or flow. Gotta move back. All right, once you're in down dog, bend your knees and look forward. Step your left foot forward. Drop your back heel. Rise up, warrior one. Inhale to straighten that front leg. And then bend back into your warrior. Arms are gonna come back behind your low back. Now, when you interlace your fingers this time, try to come into the opposite grip. So one grip is gonna feel really natural for you, like it's just automatic. It's good to switch that up and do what doesn't feel so natural and automatic. When you're ready, lower down to your comfort for humble warrior. Actively press your feet away from each other so you have a real strong foundation here in your legs. Continue to breathe. Now if you feel like you need a rest, go ahead and release your hands down. Press back into child's pose. If you want to lift yourself up here, nice and slow. Release your arms. And then lower and press back to downward facing dog. At any time we do that, you're welcome to go through a flow. High plank to low. Up, dog. And then we'll meet in downward facing dog. Bend your knees, look forward. So far we've been stepping the feet forward. This time, try a few little hops to bring your feet to your hands. You can also always bring your hands to your feet. Press into your shins, lift up halfway. Chair pose. Sit back, reach forward. Come up onto your toes. Press your hands back. Pulse. 4, 3, 2. Last one. Lower. Bend your knees, one foot at a time. Step back to high plank. Now last time I did this move on the knees, but I'm going to show you on the toes this time. Bring your left hand up, tap your left shoulder. Right hand up, left, right, left, last right, downward facing dog. Bend your knees. Right foot steps forward. Drop your back heel. And rise up, warrior one. Now open your arms up for warrior two. Switch. Your fingertips are reaching away from each other. Shoulders are softening down. Look at your right hand. Now keep your gaze on your right hand, wherever it is. Maybe you have a freckle, or you're looking at the tip of your nail, or a knuckle. Straighten your right leg, and then reach both arms up. We're gonna add this together to make it one move in just a moment. Now bend, lower your arms back, so they're parallel over your mat. All right, on an inhale, straighten your right leg and reach up. As you exhale, bend and lower. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, bend and lower. One more time, reach up. Now bend and lower. Bring your arms down behind your low back. Interlace your fingers. Straighten your right leg and turn your toes the same direction as your left. Press your knuckles away from you. Lift your chest up. And then slowly, with control, fold forward over your wide feet. And they can be any width that is comfortable for you. You can bend one knee just a little or a lot and shift your weight over to the one side and then the other. Or you can just be still in your wide-legged forward fold. All right, now, since the hands are lifting up, we're gonna go ahead and slowly release them. Bring them back towards the front, whatever your front is, and then step yourself back to downward facing dog, where you can stay or go through your flow. Bend your knees and look forward. Step your left foot forward. Drop your back heel, rise up, warrior one. And open up for warrior two. Same thing, but you're looking at your left hand this time. Okay, so we'll start with straightening the left leg. Now reach your arms up. Keep your gaze on your left hand. And then let your arms come back to parallel as you bend your front knee. Put it together. Inhale up. Exhale down. Keep going. Last one. Warrior two. Let your hands come behind your low back. Remember to switch your grip. So bring the opposite thumb on top. Straighten your left leg. Toes turn. Breathe in. And then fold. Remember, you can find any movements that feel good. If you don't like having your hands behind your back, you're welcome to bring them to the outsides of your ankles or anywhere on the legs, or just release them down onto your mat, of course. Let's all go ahead and release the hands, walk them back towards your front foot, and then we'll meet in down dog, but you can go through that flow if you'd like. Now come forward, high plank. Lower down onto your knees, and then lower down onto your forearms. The fingers are pointing forward, still spread nice and wide. And your elbows are pretty much parallel, as best as you can do. And then curl under your toes, lift your knees. We're in elbow plank or forearm plank. Now we're gonna walk the feet towards the elbows. Your hips lift to the ceiling, just like in down dog. This is called dolphin pose. It's a lot of work on your shoulders, so take a break when you need to. Walk your feet back, coming back into forearm plank. And then one more time, dolphin pose. Stay right here or lift your right leg up. Bend your right knee. Straighten and lower. Lift your left leg up. Bend, straighten, and lower. Walk your feet back, elbow plank or forearm plank. And then lower to the knees. Press back, child's pose. Take your right arm and slide it underneath your left. Flip your right palm up towards the ceiling. And then, if it feels comfortable, your head can lower down. And then we'll switch to the other side. So left arm slides under the right. And release. Shift your weight forward. Downward facing dog. Bend your knees. You can step or try those hops again, maybe one hop to fold. Halfway lift. Chair pose. Okay, so before we were lifting up onto both toes. This time I want you to just lift up onto your right toes. And perhaps you can hover your right foot over the mat. Now straighten your left leg up. Your right leg is going to lift up in front of you. Hands come down to your hips. Open your right knee over to the right. Back to center. Right knee opens. Come back to center. Now bring your right knee out to the right and then find the inside of your left leg with your right foot. It can be on the calf. That's really popular. You can place your toes on the mat and just have your heel on the inside of the leg, or if it's available, right foot comes to the inside of your thigh. Tree pose. You're welcome to keep your hands on your hips, or you can reach your arms out and up, making your tree. If you want to challenge your tree today, woo, try lifting up onto your toes. Even if it's just for a second, and it's okay if you fall out, just come right back to it. Another challenge is closing the eyes. And the reason that's really hard is because you lose your drishti, which is that point of focus. Looking at something that's still in front of you helps you with balancing poses. One more breath in your tree. And then let yourself just release and fold. Halfway lift. Chair pose. Come up onto the left toes. Then lift your left foot. Now as slowly as you can, straighten your right leg. Hands to hips. Open. Close. Open. Close. Open to tree. more breath in your tree. And then fold down. Bend your knees so much that you can lower your hips down onto your mat. And then we're gonna come into a back bend here called reverse table. Bring your hands right behind your hips. I like to have my fingertips pointing towards my hips, but I've seen this too. I don't know, it's just whatever's more comfortable for you, or you can try both. You're gonna press into your feet and your hands as you lift up into what looks just like table pose, but reversed. One more breath in here. And release. Wrap your arms around your legs. Give yourself a hug. And then pick your feet up off the mat. Make sure you're going to be on your mat as you roll back. But we're going to do it in a fun way. Now you might want to hold on to your thighs. You can even hold on to your mat. Or you can wrap your arms around the front of your shins. Lift your feet up so you're just balancing on your sit bones. Tuck your chin just a little. And when you do roll back, don't go past, it's like right in between the shoulders. You don't want to go to your neck, okay? So you're going to stop and then roll back up to this position using the strength of your core. Make this your last rock back, then stay. Take your hands to the top of your knees and go side to side. Bring your arms out to cactus arms or just straight out from your shoulders. Knees stack over your hips. We're going to take the knees over to the right, hover them over your mat. And then back to center. Knees to the left, hover. Back to center. 2 more times. So 2 to the right. And left. Last one. Let your knees come all the way over to the right this time. You can stagger them or keep them stacked. You can even place your right hand on top of your left thigh. And then switch to the other side, nice and slow. Come back to center, reach for the outsides of your feet. And then rock around in happy baby. Keep pressing your tailbone towards your mat. You don't have to extend one leg. You can just gently rock side to side. I just like to give my legs one more nice good stretch here before we close up our practice. Give yourself a nice big hug. And then you can lay down in Shavasana. Or just close your eyes in a comfortable seat. Make sure you spend some time here closing up your practice. If you ever have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them here for me. I'll see you next time. Namaste.